Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us here for a live update on our winter storm that is heading our way as we head into the weekend. I'm meteorologist Aaron White, and we're going to go through what we have going on here with this winter storm as we are expecting a lot of snow building in here for late Saturday, overnight, and really throughout the day on Sunday. So as we are going through, we're going to be on here for about a half an hour. If you have any questions about the winter storm, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, you can drop a question in the comments section. But if you are also watching on 10 TV Plus, you can also text us. All you have to do is grab your phone and just text the number to 614-460-3345. I'll get those questions sent right to this computer, and I'll be answering them here as we go through this live update. Again, we'll be on until 8. Actually, we're starting here at 8:30. We'll be on until 9 o'clock this evening, again with live updates here on our winter storm. So let's go ahead and dive into the forecast here. I'll be monitoring the questions as we go along. But we have a 10 weather impact alert starting tomorrow for bitter cold conditions as wind chill factors will drop down below zero. For the weekend, though, winter weather advisories, winter storm watches have been issued, and eventually we could see those upgraded to winter storm warnings here as we head into the weekend, as we are talking about a significant winter storm impacting Ohio and also really a large part of the country with heavy snowfall. And further south, we're not going to see ice, but further south, they're talking about some significant ice accumulation across parts of Tennessee, northern Georgia. But for us, we're likely just going to see snow, except for far southern Ohio that could see some light icing in addition to that heavier snowfall. So again, 10 weather impact alert has been issued. This is our storm. Area of low pressure that's going to kick out into the Midwest and the northern, at least the southern part of the U.S. as we go through the weekend. Right now, that area of low pressure, that is just off the coast of California. So it still has a long ways to go, over 2,000 miles, and it's going to track through the Rockies, eventually pulling in some moisture from the Gulf. All that's going to come together, the moisture from the Gulf, a strengthening storm system, in addition to that colder air coming down that we already have in place. It's all coming together for a large winter storm that's going to bring heavy snow here in the darker blue from really northern parts of Oklahoma, southern Kansas, all the way through Ohio, Kentucky, into parts of Pennsylvania, with ice further to the south, Memphis, back towards southern parts of Oklahoma, northern Texas, and even into the Atlanta metro. Again, many of us know Atlanta, a Delta hub. It's the world's busiest airport, and likely going to see some big travel impacts here as we head through the weekend. And not just air travel, but of course, road travel. Significant snowfall. That's going to have a huge impact here across Ohio as we go into Saturday night and really throughout the day on Sunday. Right now, things are pretty quiet. We are just tracking a little bit of cloud cover here and there, some flurries and light snow showers there around Lake Erie and Cleveland, but that's all going to stay away from us. And really, we're tracking pretty quiet conditions tonight and tomorrow. Thing about tomorrow, though, of course, is we're going to see colder air building in as we go through the day. So we'll start off around the upper teens, lower 20s. By the evening, though, temperatures will be falling down through the teens and into the single digits. So when you factor in the wind chill factors will be dropping down below zero by around this time tomorrow. So 24 hours from now, likely going to see some sub-zero wind chill factors, and that will continue overnight into Saturday morning. So we got some very cold conditions before we get that snow. But if you have any errands to do, if you need to go get some groceries and just be ready for the storm, rest of today, tomorrow, and even early on Saturday, things are still looking okay. It's going to be later Saturday, especially through the evening, but really overnight into Sunday is when a lot of that snow really starts to get into gear and start to see some of that heavier snow building in. But like I said, our storm, it's still off the coast of California. It's over 2,000 miles away. It's still gathering some energy. It's kicking out a lot of moisture there into Southern California around Los Angeles, but it's going to track across the southern U.S. through Arizona, New Mexico, and kick out in the southern plains across Texas and Oklahoma. As it does so, it's going to strengthen once it passes the Rockies, and it's also going to pull in some moisture from the Gulf. Again, low pressure spins counterclockwise, so that flow is going to be out of the south. It's going to pull in all that moisture, which is going to override the cold air that we have in place, leading to icing further south and heavy snowfall here around Ohio. But I just want to show this map and how large of an area this is really going to encompass as we go through the next several days. Where you see pink, that is a winter storm warning. So that includes a large part of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, into Tennessee, Kentucky, and then where you have the blue, of course, here in Ohio, those are winter storm watches. So likely going to see those expanded, the winter storm warnings. At least that's going to likely happen either tonight or more so tomorrow, that the National Weather Service, once they're more confident, as all the computer projections are coming together to help paint a better picture of how this is going to pan out for the weekend, they'll likely upgrade winter storm warnings across parts of Ohio for late Saturday into Sunday. But again, this is going to encompass a large part of the country here as we head through the weekend. So here's the hour-by-hour forecast, and this is one projection that I want to show just how things are going to evolve, at least a larger picture, and then we'll get a little bit closer in here in just a moment. But for right now, Saturday evening, after about 6 p.m., we'll start to see some light snow working its way in. It's not going to be heavy, at least initially, but watch what happens as we go through the evening here into Saturday night. After midnight, notice the darker blue showing up here across central and southern Ohio. That's indicating that heavier snow, at least moderate to heavy snow, building in from the south. And notice even darker blue across parts of Kentucky. So some heavy snow really building in. And here we are by noon, still tracking a lot of snow, central, southern Ohio. The entire state of Ohio likely going to see some snow, but some of the heaviest will be further south. So the further south you go, at least at this point, some of the higher the totals are going to be as we go through Sunday into Sunday night. We're still 7 p.m., still tracking some snow, gradually going to wind down here after midnight on Sunday, and then still a couple snow showers not out of the question even into our Monday morning. So pretty much a long duration system, but the bulk of the snow, the bulk of the accumulation is going to happen from midnight Saturday night to midnight Sunday night. So that 24-hour window, that's where we're going to see most of the snow. So by Sunday night, and more so by Monday morning, that's when you're going to measure the snowfall. Once all is said and done, that is when we were talking about some significant amounts of anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of snow across central and southern Ohio. So again, here's a closer look at the timing of the snowfall. Some light snow early on Saturday evening and into around just after midnight. This is when the heavy snow really starts to build in. So here we go after midnight, just about a couple of hours. Notice the deeper blues showing up here, especially across southern Ohio. But watch as the clock goes to 7 a.m. here, and we see a lot more dark blue really show up across all of central and southern Ohio. That continues through the morning hours, and even by the afternoon, again, notice darker blue showing up there, indicating some still heavy snow continues through the afternoon and into the evening on Sunday. So Sunday, it's basically going to be snowing pretty much all day from sunup to sundown, and even outside of that time frame, we are going to see quite a bit of snowfall moving through. So once all is said and done, like I said, by Sunday night after midnight and into Monday morning, once the snow has really wrapped up, this is what we are expecting. So you will likely be measuring 6 to 12 inches of snowfall across all of central and southern Ohio. We are looking at 8 to 12 inches for the Columbus metro. The further south you go, likely the higher the numbers are going to be. So for Columbus, we can really be anywhere in that 8 to 12 range, but the further north you go, the lesser the amounts. The further south you go, the trend is going to be a little bit higher. But again, snow amounts can vary by just a few miles. 5 miles down the road could measure 12 inches of snowfall. 5 miles to the west only gets about 9. So they can vary quite a bit. That's why we do these ranges, just to help you give an idea of how much you can really expect, generally speaking, as amounts will vary widely across such a large area of central and southern Ohio. So again, this is our latest snowfall forecast. Meteorologist Michael Behrens, meteorologist Meredith Garfalo, and we all spoke earlier this afternoon just to kind of give a get a better consensus, if we're all in agreement on what's going to be happening with the storm. And this is what we came to of how much snow we are expecting here from 10 TV with the team here, about 6 to 12 inches of snowfall across central and southern Ohio. So again, that is our latest snowfall forecast. We will likely continue to refine this a little bit more through tonight, and especially as we go into tomorrow. Are we going to see significant changes at this point? Probably not, but we may start to refine the bands a little bit and try to narrow down exactly where some of that heaviest snow will fall. So you may see the map change just slightly heading into tomorrow. We may introduce a different color here to indicate some higher amounts, about 10 to 12 inches or more, depending on how the system looks going into tomorrow morning. But again, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, that storm is still off the coast of California, 2,000 miles away. There's a lot that can happen in those 2,000 miles, and there's a lot that can change in the course of 2 more days. So that's why when you see these snowfall forecasts, they start to change as you get closer to the event. New weather data is coming in every so often, and that is helping to really tell the story. So that's why we have to update these forecasts. And again, hopefully we don't have to make too many adjustments, but it is pretty set in stone that we have a winter storm on our way, and a lot of snow will be falling here across central and southern Ohio. So again, if you have any questions here, feel free to drop them in the comment section here on Facebook Live. If you're watching us on 10 TV, you can send those questions to 614-460-3345. So looking at what we are expecting here, somebody is asking about how much snow we're thinking for the Marion area. So as we can see with the map, Marion we put into the 6 to 10 inch range. We added these the plus just to indicate that there will be some variations. There could be a couple amounts, not necessarily for Marion, but somewhere in this darker blue area that could see up to 11. But at the same time, if we see some amounts up to 11 or 12 inches, it's also possible that some places could get below that, 5 or 6 inches of snowfall. So just note that a lot of snow is on the way, whether you get 6 inches of snowfall or 12 inches of snowfall. A lot of the impacts are going to be felt across all of Ohio here as we go through the weekend. Going to switch over back to Facebook here. So again, if you have any questions, just go ahead and drop them in the comments. I'm just going to kind of scroll through right now. All right, so we got, let's see, asking about if any dry air will come in, or if we're going to see any icy, if it's not going to be just snow. So I will say, let me switch this back to that hour-by-hour forecast. So there is a growing change, I guess a little bit of a change with the computer projections, that they're starting to just pick up on a little bit of that warmer air trying to build further to the north. It's been a trend that we've been watching for the last couple of days as the whole storm track has been gradually building further north with each passing day. So if you go back to just back over the weekend, we were talking about a winter storm coming through the country, but impacts around here in Ohio were going to be pretty minimal. But the storm track, again, has gradually been evolving as it's still, again, out in the Pacific. That track has been projected to build further north, and that's why we're starting to see more of that snow moving in here across Ohio, and a winter storm likely to unfold as we are talking about some very heavy snowfall. But what I want you to watch here, let me go ahead and switch that back one more time. Actually, we'll go back to this model, is notice that pink. Notice the pink there, getting a little bit closer to southern Ohio. Not quite, but this is a lot further north than it was just looking a couple days ago. So if we can get a little bit warmer air here, there is a chance we could see some freezing rain and sleet mixing in with the snow. Now, because it is still fairly far south and hasn't gotten any further north in the last 24 hours, the concern, it's still there, but I still think that most of what falls here Saturday into Sunday night is going to be snow. For really all of central, all of Ohio, there could be a time, maybe a few hours, where we see some snow, sleet, and freezing rain kind of mixing in together. So that will be something we'll have to watch here across southern Ohio. I don't expect that to get north of I-70. So better chance for any sort of change with some rain, snow, freezing rain, and sleet. That would be across far southern Ohio, maybe even south of Chillicothe, Piketon, Waverly, Jackson, maybe Athens, but really I think it's going to stay just south of us, and we're going to stay primarily with snow here as we go through the rest of the weekend. So we got another question asking, when is the snow supposed to start in Franklin County? So another good question here. Let me go ahead and switch this back over to this one. So mentioned a few minutes ago, snow likely going to start during the evening on Saturday, but it's going to be light, maybe at times on the moderate side. So off and on snow showers likely from, I would say, after about 5 p.m. on Saturday, and then that continues through about midnight. So off and on snow showers. Not really going to see much accumulation during that window, maybe a dusting to an inch. Now, when we talk about the winter storm itself, the heavier snowfall, the higher the impacts are going to be, that's likely going to be after midnight. So here we are about 2 o'clock in the morning, and when I say 2 o'clock in the morning, just take that with a grain of salt, because any subtle shift in the storm, as this is still 2 days out, that could change by a couple of hours. So this could start at midnight, it could start at 4 a.m. The window is going to be kind of shifting here and there as it's still 48 hours from now. Again, we're at 8:46 p.m. here on our Thursday night. Snow, and the heavy snow isn't even going to start for more than 2 days. We're talking about after midnight Saturday night. So here we are, 2 o'clock in the morning. Snow really overspreads, and it's going to be quick. It's going to be quick to build in, and it's going to pick up in intensity really quickly as well. So when you go to bed Saturday night, and by the time you wake up Sunday morning, there's going to be snow on the ground. That's pretty much guaranteed. There's going to be snow on the ground here by Sunday morning. What I can say, though, is you are not going to measure 6 to 12 inches of snowfall by Sunday morning when you wake up. By Sunday night and Monday morning, yeah, you probably will be measuring that much snowfall, because that's about the time when the snow will be wrapping up. So heaviest snow right now looks to be anywhere from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday. So that 12-hour window would be the time for the heaviest of the snow, the heavy snow, with snowfall rates maybe 1, possibly an inch and a half per hour of that heavy snow. We can see that right here, 7 a.m. Dark blue showing up, indicating higher snowfall, heavier snowfall across central and southern Ohio. That continues through the afternoon, and then eventually gradually starting to see that snow tapering off. And that was, we were looking at one computer projection. This is another one, and the timing is pretty similar. Here we are, 5 a.m. Moderate to heavy snow building in with that darker blue. Noon, still tracking some moderate to heavy snowfall. And then by 7 p.m., still dark blue, moderate to heavy snowfall, especially the further east you go, as that storm system starts to build further away and then move out of the Midwest and really take the snow with it. But behind it, we're going to be seeing some colder air get ushered in. So snow still continues into Sunday night. By Monday morning, there could still be a couple flurries, some light snow showers around. I don't expect much snow to really fall after midnight Sunday night. So that's what we have going on. And as I mentioned with the latest snowfall forecast, if you're just tuning in right now here on Facebook Live or here on 10 TV Plus, this is our forecast. We have not changed this really much from earlier this afternoon. And the only change we really made from last night into this morning was we brought the purple just a little bit further to the north. It was a bit further south. The trend has been to bring some of that heavier snow across more of central and southern Ohio. So based on those indications, based on those projections, this is a pretty safe assumption that we are going to see 6 to 12 inches of snowfall across central and southern Ohio by Sunday night. So I just wanted to emphasize that again. We're going to see the snow start Saturday night, but you are not going to wake up Sunday morning to that much snow. It's going to still take some more time. So all day Sunday, snow will be falling across the area. Let's see, what time starting Saturday night? Go back to that one more time here. So again, this is just a rough estimate. We're going to see snow starting as early as 5 to 6 p.m. That's going to be light to moderate snow showers, kind of off and on stuff. The steadier snow and the heavier snow, that's going to start after midnight. So this is one computer projection that's been, pretty good about being on track, and that has the snow starting after midnight, especially the further west you go, and then as we go through time, all that snow expands and really covers the entire state. So here we are, 7 a.m. on Sunday, all of central and southern Ohio pretty much locked into the snow. It continues all the way through the day and into the afternoon. So it's going to be a long duration storm. And as I mentioned, after this, we still got to talk about the cold. We have winter, we have weather impact alerts all the way through the weekend for the snow with this winter storm. But even Monday and Tuesday, we're tracking temperatures in the morning down into the single digits. Wind chill factors likely below 0 here as we go through the morning hours on both Monday and Tuesday. And then look what happens later on. We get another round of some colder air building in here by the end of the week, and temperatures are dropping below 0. That's actual temperature here by Thursday morning, down to 1 below, 8 degrees for the high temperature. So wind chill factors are going to be well below 0. And the reason for that, for even colder conditions, is because we're going to see so much snow over the weekend, and all that snow is going to be on the ground. Well, it's just going to kind of lock in that cold, and the snow extends pretty far up into the Midwest. So as colder air, Arctic air is building in from Canada, well, it's not going to warm up across that snowpack, so it's going to stay frigid, and that's going to lock us into the cold here by the end of next week. And eventually we'll get back to above freezing, but it appears like, again, we're going to see that snow ending by Monday morning. We're locked in below freezing for several days, and even after the 7-day forecast by Thursday, Friday, even into next weekend, we may see that cold air continue here across Ohio. So it's going to be quite some time to really, get ourselves out of this cold, and just winter being in full force here across Ohio. So we know how it goes. A couple weeks ago, we were enjoying the 60s, and now we have a full winter storm on our hands here for the week, in addition to those bitter cold conditions. And let's see. And, of course, just some good reminders. This is going to be impacting us through the day on Sunday. So Sunday is going to be a really good day to just kind of stay home, hunker down, watch some good movies, find a good show to stream, and, just kind of wait out the storm. If you don't have to go anywhere, highly advise that you don't. We likely will see how, of course, Ohio, responds to the snow, of course, with the DOT getting the crews out there, plowing off the roads, and each county kind of issuing some of the snow emergencies that we are likely going to see here over the weekend. So just, again, pay attention to what your specific county is issuing for those snow emergencies here as we really head into the end of the weekend, because most of Saturday should be okay. That snow starts Saturday evening, but it's going to be really Sunday, all day Sunday. So again, midnight Saturday night to midnight Sunday night. So the entire 24-hour span of Sunday, we're likely going to see snow. So that's when we're going to be watching for those snow emergencies here across central and southern Ohio going through the end of the weekend. And we could still see some impacts even here into Monday morning. It's possible that there could be some schools that are impacted. Even though the snow is wrapping up, it's going to take some time for the road the plows to get out there, clear the roads, even city crews to plow some of the streets as well. So that's going to be something that we'll have to keep in mind here as we head into the start of the work week here on Monday. And of course, the very cold temperatures down to 7 degrees here by Monday morning. That's just the temperature. The wind chill factor is going to be below 0 as well. So a lot of things are happening over the course of the next several days. The snow, the cold, and even colder conditions here by the middle to really the end of next week, as we could see temperatures even colder than that by Friday, with temperatures falling down likely below 0. So again, it is just coming up here on 8:55. We're going to wrap this up here in just about just under 5 minutes here, right at 9 o'clock. We'll have more updates, of course, coming up on 10 TV at 11, so you can tune in for that for the latest on the forecast. Once we're done here, I'm going to be looking at some of the latest data that's coming in right now and see if we have to make some adjustments to this snowfall forecast. I don't anticipate that, but really what I'm watching for with some of the newer data that's coming in is if we're kind of getting some of that warmer air from the south, that could lead to some issues with more of a rain, snow, freezing rain, sleet mixture across our southern counties. But I don't expect that to get north of Chillicothe and Logan. So it's going to be these areas in really far southern Ohio, even maybe south of Waverly and Piketon, that we probably would be more concerned about that. I think it's a safe assumption that we're going to see really 95% of this being all snow across all of central and southern Ohio. So just going to be watching the new data coming in and just kind of seeing if there's any changes and if the track of the storm is shifting at all, if there's a southern shift, even if there's a northern shift, we might even have to bring some of these numbers up a little bit. So that is something that could also happen. So what I advise for everyone watching right now, just continue to monitor the forecast here on 10 TV. We are watching everything behind the scenes, analyzing new data that's coming in just to help paint a better picture of how things will play out here for the weekend, because we all know weather changes. It's the Midwest. Things can change pretty quickly. And so that's the same thing that's happening with these computer models that are coming in. These projections, they're constantly changing. New data is getting fed in all the time. And that's what we are going off of to help paint a better picture. And once each model, we have several different computer projections that show a potential story. Once they all show the same thing, this is what we get. We get a better idea of how the storm is going to play out, and we have a better snowfall forecast to give you here on 10 TV and here on 10 TV Plus. So that's what I'll be doing here this evening. So again, tune in at 11 o'clock this evening for the latest on the forecast. If there's any changes, hopefully there's not, and we're going to lock in this forecast here for the upcoming weekend. Now, other things that are going on, of course, like I said, we are tracking the timing. That's going to be another critical thing here as well. We're watching closely monitoring the timing for when that heavy snow, when the heaviest of the snow is going to start to build in. And we've been talking about it. Meteorologist Michael Behrens, Meredith Garfalo, and I, we've all been kind of watching this really through the day today, through the last several days, and watching the timing, because that's been the most crucial part of it. When's the snow really going to start? And it was looking like it was going to start as early as Saturday afternoon, but that window is kind of shifting just ever so slightly a little bit later. Now, there will be snow falling likely through the afternoon and evening on Saturday, but the heaviest snow, I still think that's going to be happening after midnight here Saturday night. So here we are early in the morning, Sunday, 2 o'clock in the morning. The heaviest of the snow really overspreading central and southern Ohio. And I just want you to look at this.